Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, geeks of all ages, welcome to another episode of Geek Smack, episode number 268, the pre-show at Geekazine.com. And let me just turn this down a little bit. And how y'all doing? My name is Jeffrey Powers. Of course, there's an echo. Let's just turn that off there. My name is Jeffrey Powers. Thanks a lot for coming to the show. The pre-show is what you see over at Geekazine.com. We'll see how this is loading. I like to do this so I can see what's going on, how everything's working, and go from there. And it looks like it is working. We're doing great, although there's still a 6-minute countdown on Geek Smack 268. I wonder if it's going to. Nope, there it goes. I'm just testing that part out, seeing if that actually works, how it works, how well it works, and where we're at. Of course, there is a 30-second delay from the youtube.com/Geekazine, the live YouTube action over at Geekazine.com and Geek Smack. And okay, so it looks like everything's good. How y'all doing? Yep, that works good. How y'all doing this week? I hope you had a great week. Of course, we had a couple weeks off because of the fact I went to get my Google Glass, which I'm not wearing, and yeah, I came back, and then yeah, it's been a fun couple weeks when it comes to Google Glass. Of course, lots of things happened this last week. Let me just do this really quick. The first thing that happened was that my iPhone. Well, we'll start with Google Glass. So basically, what happened was I went out to Los Angeles. And I got ready to set up my video camera, and they said, "Oh no, we can't have any video of this customer experience, because we want everybody to have that same customer experience." And it's like, okay, well, whatever. So I sat down. I'm gonna tell you something. Their customer experience is no different than if you go to an optometrist and get your glasses, because they do everything except they don't tell you about the technological aspects of it. They just basically say, here's your glasses. Does it look right? Does it fit right? If you do this, if you cover this eye, let's check this, About 45 minutes, I got my Google Glass. And like I said, if you go to an insurance agent, you get that same type of customer service. If you go to an optometrist, you get that same type of customer service. I saw no additional customer service there that they really wanted me to have. And they could have just mailed it to me and then got on a Google Hangout and did the same thing. That would have been customer service. Because I would have saved a whole bunch of money. The vacation trip that I had planned is gone because those Sky Miles were used to go get Google Glass. And B, I could saved a bunch of time. 30-hour turnaround trip from LA to back to Madison because they couldn't fit me into New York's office. And it's like, I have people that want to know more about Google Glass. I want, the newspapers want to write about it. The TV stations want to talk about it. I want to get on radio. I want to show people around Madison, Wisconsin. So I finally get the Google Glass 2 weeks ago. And I walked Venice Beach, and that's pretty cool. Lots of cool stuff. You find all the really cool pictures up on my G Plus page. And I showed a few of those pictures last night on This Week in Google Glass. So anyway, I got back from Venice, and then I got onto the flight. I was a little bit sunburned. I was very tired, and here it was about 4 or 5 o'clock, and it's like, I just want to go back to LAX, find a place to kind of hunker down, write a couple chapters in my book, and get on a plane and come back home. And that's what I did. I grabbed an Uber, which, by the way, if you're concerned about cabs in the Los Angeles area, try UberX. It's an amazing application. So anyway, I grabbed an Uber, and then I rode back to LAX. I hunkered down in the airport for a few hours, had some food, had some drinks, and just wrote on the book. Took a couple-hour nap, and then hit the airplane on a red-eye flight back to Madison, Wisconsin. It was if you ever taken a red-eye flight, you know how fun those can be, and especially trying to sleep on a red-eye flight. So, but anyway, so I took the red-eye flight, and I got back to Madison, and I was just beat. So I took a few hour nap, and then I started off. I went out and I showed off Google Glass. I went to what we call Bike Night, which is here. There's a place called Quaker Steak and Lube. You might have it in your area, and they have each week they have a bike night, and bands play and bikes are shown. So I figured great opportunity, lots of good pictures of motorcycles and bands. That's a good idea. So I went there, had a lot of fun with it, and got a lot of great pictures, which once again you can see up on my Google Plus page. In fact, while I were doing this, I should probably just pull it up and show you some of those pictures that I took. So, but anyway, so I went up on Google Plus and or went up. Yeah, I did go up. I just did go up on Google Plus. I went up the next night. I went up to the Capitol Square of Madison. Had a lot of fun there. Lots and lots of pictures. We're talking tons of pictures. But the big thing was that Friday night I was playing as a musician. I was playing, and we were playing at a place in Madison. And I said, well, hey, this is a perfect example. Let's go show people my Google Glass, and I'll show people what we can do. So basically, I got behind the drum set. I wasn't going to do a hangout because I knew that wasn't going to go very far. I don't think it was going to work. And apparently, another drummer who had the same idea that night decided to do that. So here's the slideshow. We'll pop it up here as we go. You can see some of my pictures. So anyway, so yeah, I got it up at and played the drums with the Google Glass on. And when I got done, whoops, I think I'm going the wrong way here. When I got done, this is Madison, Wisconsin, by the way, a little bit blurry because the window had something on it. There was something on the window, but some great pictures nonetheless. So anyway, got back. This is bike night, by the way. We got back on, and I did some video, a couple songs, put it up on Google Plus. They loved it. They just loved it. So lots of cool stuff there. And then I brought it up we had a gig on Saturday night, and I brought it up on Saturday night and started taking pictures. But the problem was that the camera stopped working. The touch screen actually stopped working. And I was like, well, what the heck's going on here? So touch screen stopped working. I couldn't swipe, I couldn't tap or anything like that. So I just figured, well, maybe it's just overheating or something like that. I set it down for a couple hours, turned it off, turned it back on. The touchpad worked once again, and then it just stopped working after a little while. So finally on Sunday, I called up Google Glass and I said, hey, I need this glass for, some events that I'm doing and, of course, some media that I'm going to be on. And they said, oh, yeah, you've got two options. You can either put down $1,500 and we send you another one and then you send yours back, or you do an RMA box. If we get it overnight, and then we send we send the RMA box to you overnight. You then put the glass in, send it back to us, and then turn around. We'll send it back to you. So you should get it by Friday for any type of Monday morning meetings. I said that's perfect because I had a media event on Monday that I wanted to be at. Well, here it is Tuesday afternoon, and they still haven't received the box that I sent to them. And all I'm getting from them is, oh, I'm sorry for this, I'm sorry for that, I'm sorry for this, I'm sorry for that. But sorry doesn't cut it. I just canceled a whole bunch of events because of the fact that I didn't have this glass. And it's really disappointing. And I talked with Luke Wallace about it last night. And here's some of the pictures, some more of the pictures, by the way. I talked with Luke Wallace about it last night, and he said, there's still a lot of great stuff that you can do with glass. So just wait for the next version, and let's see if we can start off on a good foot. And of course, I've put a lot of money into it, not only buying the Google Glass, but also putting in a show. That show has literally taken about $600-700 out of my pocket already to set up to get all the media event. With over 11,000 downloads, the first episode alone cost me $178. So, but we got some, you're looking at some of the really cool pictures that I've been taking with glass. And looked out my window And this is all up on Google Plus, so you can check a lot of these pictures out. Some of these pictures are hidden. This is Art Fair on the Square. I could still take pictures. This is the drum set pictures, by the way. I could still take pictures, and we got a video right here. Let's see if we can play that. I can still take pictures, but I couldn't do anything else. And so that was the real disappointment. I got some great pictures on the lake, and I got some great pictures of different events. So, but yeah, that was me playing drums right there. And let's get a couple good spots where I can start the pictures when I show it on the actual show. You're watching the pre-show, which means that I'm babbling on with my stuff. The other thing that happened to me, somebody stole my iPhone. And it was Monday. We were actually going to go up to the lake. We're going to be on the boat for a day. It was supposed to be a relaxing 36 hours before I had to come back to Madison and do work stuff. And we went to a grocery store, and I thought I had the window cracked about that much. Maybe a little bit more. Just a little bit more. But I couldn't see somebody getting in there and doing anything. And then, I always take my iPhone in with me. And I figured, no, I won't take my iPhone in now. I'll just, it's fine there, as I realized it was in the car. And so I walked in, we bought some spirits, we bought some food. In there 15 minutes, get to the checkout lane. The guy that's bagging, all of a sudden, he's looking a little bit worried, looking a little bit concerned, and didn't think anything of it. And then he disappears, so we had to, the checker had to bag. And then we walked outside, and he's talking to this woman in a minivan. And once again, not thinking anything of it, walked to my car, and he goes, "Is that your car?" And I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "Somebody was in your car." And I go, "That's impossible. My car's locked, and the windows are rolled up to the point I don't think they could get their hands in." But apparently they did, and they stole my iPhone, which it was a 32 gigabyte model. And so, which I got so I could do video and hold a little bit more content, that because a 16 gigabyte, my 3GS, I was always clearing out my phone to put in more stuff. The 32 gigabyte model was perfect. So he stole it, and I turned it off, unfortunately. So any type of Find My Phone on it was pretty much dead. And then turned around, and as far as I know, it's in somewhere in Illinois. Last time we saw, somewhere in Illinois. Now that could have changed. It might be overseas now. It might be a different type of phone now, like a T-Mobile phone. My phone's lost, so I had to switch back. Now, luckily, Microsoft did give me this nice Windows phone. It's a Nokia 900. So I've been using it for the last week, and even with the 7.8 software on it, I have to admit, I so miss my iPhone. Now, the other thing is I had an Android phone, an LG Optimus G, which I got to do a review on, and they said, well, you can keep it. It's still ours, but you can keep it to do if you need to pull up an Android app, then you have a phone, which is perfect because that's what I needed it for. But it's on the Sprint network, and this is on AT&T. So I'm kind of wishing that I could root that phone and actually bring it over to AT&T so I could run it here, because the Windows Phone, the biggest problem with the Windows Phone is it doesn't have the apps that I need, and this screen's a little bit older. This processor is a little bit older. That LG Optimus G has a quad-core processor. It's super fast. Pictures are great. Pictures aren't so great on this phone, so I really want a phone upgrade. But I just can't afford it. I mean, I'm out of contract, so that means $400, $500. If I wanted to get my iPhone back, $550. So I'm out of luck there. So last week, just all electronics. Then a laptop literally blew up in my lap. I was pulled this laptop out, and I was like, I forgot I had this laptop. I could incorporate it into my studio so I have some extra video, extra stuff. So I decided to recondition it because I knew it didn't have any operating system on it. I had an extra license for Windows 7, so it's like, okay, I'll get it going. So I'm sitting there on my laptop, on my lap, and I'm turning it on just to see, where it's at, what it's doing. It starts to load up. All of a sudden, it's like, pow! And it just turns itself off. It's dead. Deader than a doornail. And I was like, seriously, how'd that happen? There's just no way that that happened. So the laptop died, and then to top it all off, the desktop, I was trying to do some video on Wirecast, and I was noticing, ever since the update of Wirecast at 4.3.1, the screen grabs have been getting really, really muddy. You can't read anything off of it, and I needed something that, when I pull up a web page, you can read the content. Even if it's a little bit blurry, I don't care about that, but you got to read the content. So I said, well, maybe it's just the video card. Maybe I just got to uninstall the video card, reinstall it. So I uninstalled the video card. I rebooted, and then it just sat there, and it said, and it came up with a blue screen error, and then rebooted. And then I turned around and tried to repair it. Wouldn't repair. Tried everything in the book. It just wouldn't do anything. And I thought to myself, if it's broken, it's time to reinstall from scratch. Because literally, it was a XP to Windows 7 to Windows 8 product. Now, this is an interesting thing. Apparently, Windows 8 upgrade, you need to install Windows 7 first. However, there's a workaround on that, and I found that workaround toot sweet. And basically, you go in the registry, you turn it's like media boot install from 1 to 0. You go in a command prompt, you type in a line, it just basically says refresh, reboot the computer, poof, and then it's in Windows 8. So I'm really happy that did work. Otherwise, I would have had to spend another 3 hours trying to install more operating systems I just really didn't want to do. So bottom line is that last week, anything computer-wise, anything electronic-wise, I probably should have stayed way away from. And I probably should have rolled up my windows a little bit more too. So that's that. Now, some of you have asked, well, what about insurance? Can you do that? I do have an insurance policy with my renter's insurance that says that if something is damaged or stolen from my car, they will cover it. However, there's a $500 deductible. So $550 to get the iPhone replaced, $500 deductible, they pay for $50. The only thing that would be cool about that is if something else happened, like water damage or somebody stole something else. If they would have stole the iPad and the iPhone, or the Google Glass and the iPhone, then the $500 deposit would have been worth it. But it's not worth it at this point. So, and of course, the reality is I don't have $500 right now to put down, because I spent a lot of money on this Google Glass project, and I'm kind of tapped at this point. So anyway, so that's what's been going on this last week on this pre-show era. So of course, if you want to be part of the pre-show, all you have to do is contact me. You can email me at geekazine@gmail.com, and you can comment in the comments area and go from there. Let's see. Lots of stuff this week. We're going to get into Geek Smack here in a couple minutes here. But first of all, feel free to contact me, geekazine@gmail.com. Think magazine, put in a geek. Twitter is Geekazine. And of course, this hotline is 608-205-4378. Somebody actually asked if Google Voice should get that number is a Google Voice number, by the way. Somebody should have asked, should we get rid of Google Voice? And I'm thinking to myself, shut your mouth. I love my Google Voice number. I've had it not since the inception of Geekazine. If you remember correctly, Geekazine had a different number from another free phone service that actually got bought out by somebody else, and then they got rid of their free profiles. But at that same time, Google Voice started up, and I was really excited about that. I was really happy that I could actually continue on. And I don't have a problem with Google Voice. I don't understand why they'd want to get rid of it. But somebody's out there thinking, well, maybe we should get rid of Google Voice. I really hope that Google doesn't get rid of Google Voice. So it's really sad, because, I'm complaining about Google on one end, but then I'm praising them on the other end. And I know Google Glass in a couple of years is going to be a lot better than it is before, but just going through these initial growing pains, especially when I'm trying to put down, an investment for future return on investment, and it's not really happening the way that I want it. So, but anyway, if you want to check out that show, it's over at thisweekingoogleglass.com or twig.tv, twigg.tv. All right, I think that's it for the babble, the vlogging part of Geek Smack. We're going to get in the regular show, and I didn't think I'd be sweating this much. I do have the air on, and so I will be I'm gonna kind of tap my brow a little bit and take a little drinky drink from my It's not a Soda Stream. This is really cool. It's called Primo, and we have a local store called Tuesday Afternoon. I think it's a Midwest chain store that is in certain towns, and they had the Primo, which is like the Soda Stream, and it was like $30 as opposed to $90. So I've been making some cool drinks. This is actually grape juice and water and of course carbonated, and it's really good. It's really good for me, and I've been drinking a lot of this instead of the sugary sodas, and I've been probably cutting down my sugar by 1/3, 1/4. And of course, the price on this is amazing. I just have to fill this up with water, a little bit of flavoring. In this case, like I said, this is actual 100% grape juice and a little bit of water, about a half a cup of water to get the carbonation through there. And it tastes great, and it's good for me. So anyway, enough about that. Let's get into your Geek Smack. So what's going to happen, you're going to see about 5 seconds of the Geek Smack main screen, and then I go into the actual show. I'm going to try and record and stream at the same time, so hopefully we won't get too many skips here. But we're going to check that out and see if that works a little bit better so I can get this published up as quick as possible. So here we go. This is Geek Smack episode number 268, Stolen iPhones and Broken Glass. And we'll be back.
This is the Tech Podcast Network. It's tech, it's here.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, geeks of all ages, Jeffrey Powers here. Welcome to Geek Smack episode number 268, Stolen iPhones and Broken Glass. We've got a lot of great stuff in the show today. We're going to be talking about a lot of things that are happening in the tech world. And of course, the big thing that we're talking about, why'd that switch? That's weird. We're going to talk about SIM card security. We're also going to talk about larger iPhones and larger iPads. We're going to talk about the Leap controller. Did you get one of those? And tracking cameras, a whole bunch more. It's Geek Smack. It's brought to you by our friends over at Wirecast. Get yourself this great way to switch around. And of course, go live on youtube.com, with youtube.com/Geekazine. We're also brought to you by Roku, Day in Tech History, and GoDaddy.com. So let's get into your Geek Smack for this week. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, geeks of all ages, Jeffrey Powers here. Welcome to Geek Smack, the show where we smack the geek out of you like Bluetooth. We've got a lot of cool Bluetooth items, wearable technology, as we talk about. And of course, we're live on YouTube over at youtube.com/Geekazine. Think magazine, put in a geek. That's where everything is. Geekazine@gmail.com. Twitter handle is Geekazine. Hotline is 608-205-4378. If this is the first time that you've come to the show, thank you very much for being a part of this show. We are here every single Tuesday for your Wednesday consumption. Of course, I took the last couple weeks off. And then, of course, next week I'm going to LA for a special event. So this is kind of like the vacation month for me. Although there was no vacation this last month. Like I said, 2 weeks ago, I went to LA to pick up my Google Glass, which is already broke. And then last week I went up to the lake and we just kind of relaxed on a boat. But I couldn't relax totally because on Monday, somebody stole my iPhone. Now, I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to go into detail because I went into very big detail in the pre-show. So if you go over to youtube.com/Geekazine, you'll see Geek Smack episode 268, and then you can go there, you can find out the pre-show. It's kind of like my little pre-vlog before Geek Smack, which you can go on and check out there. Some things that happened, like I said, my iPhone was stolen. I'm now on this nice little Windows phone. I actually got this Windows phone last year. I updated it to 7.8. It's doing the job, but I'm missing an iPhone. I'm trying to get an Android phone to see if I want to do that, especially with Google Glass, because I can tether to it. Now, the Google Glass, what happened was the touch screen, the touchpad was gone. I could take a picture by hitting the button on top, but I couldn't do any of the swiping, and I could upload it to my Google Plus page, which you can see all the pictures there. In fact, I've got a few pictures that I'm going to show you right now. This is actually the art fair on the square in Madison, Wisconsin. Oops, let's try that. And I'm going to show you a few of those pictures. So I had a lot of fun. That's a video. Yeah. So I had a lot of fun with the pictures, and then I went up on the boat, and we saw a lot of cool stuff. This is a cool wireframe thing that they did up there, and just a lot of cool art. I got a lot of pictures, and I got a lot of cool video there. If you want to check that out, go over to my Plus page, and of course you can do that by going to Geekazine.com. You can look for Jeffrey Powers up on Google Plus and go from there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, geeks of all ages, let's get into your Geek Smack for this week. And of course, this week we're brought to you by our friends over at GoDaddy.com. Find your domain, find your website, and you got it. Put it together just like I did 6 years ago with Geekazine.com. I remember searching for my first domain, and the domain discovery tool helped in figuring out Geekazine, because that was far from where I was going with my website. So GoDaddy.com, been on the site ever since its inception of Geekazine, and of course I use their hosting, I use their SSL certificates, and I use their domain function system. I just updated some of the domains that were about to be expired. So it's very easy to do. All you have to do is log into my account and go through the managers from there. You want to be a part of it? You can save yourself 35%. 35% from GoDaddy.com. All you have to do is enter in the code WOWAZINE, 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 and you can get yourself 35%. Of course, it helps me, and it saves me a few dollars from when I need to get a new web domain, or I need to update my existing domains. You know, Geekazine, Dorkazine, Sportazine, TVazine, and a new azine that's coming down the pike, but I'm not going to talk about it just yet. So check it out over at GoDaddy.com. All right, let's get into the news for the week. First of all, we're going to start over at the Geekazine news area. The iPad there's been some rumors of some iPads that are out that are a little bit bigger. A possible 13-inch iPad, a possible 4.7-inch iPhone, or a 5.7-inch iPhone. Pretty cool stuff. Basically, they're testing out some sizes, so there are a couple prototypes out in the wild of larger iPads and iPhones. I think what they're thinking of is with iPads, there's a lot of cash registers, POS terminals out there, a lot of kiosks out there that are using 10-inch iPads. And by switching them to 13-inch iPads, they'll have a little bit more real estate to put buttons down, to have people, make bigger text so people can read the messages better. And like I said, more real estate for more buttons. So I'm wondering if this is actually going to be for the not for the consumer model, but for the corporate model, to even have something on the wall, or have something, like I said, a cash register or something like that. iPhones, ever since I had my iPhone 5, I wanted to have a little bit bigger screen. And so, even Steve Wozniak said it would be really nice if that screen was a little bit bigger. So I totally understand the 4.7-inch and the 5.7-inch models of iPhone. I'm not totally sure about 3 versions of iPad, but like I said, when it comes to corporate models, they need something a little bit different, and this might fit into that need. So will it happen? I don't know. It's just rumor right now, and they're just testing. So we'll see what happens. We'll keep you abreast of the situation. If you want to read more, go over to news.geekazine.com for that. Wearable technology is here. Whether you like it or not, it's coming, and it's here. And one of the things that we've got here, if you know what near-field communication is, it's basically when you come close to an item, it actually reacts. Like, for instance, there was an app on my iPhone at the time, now it's gone, that are called Erasma. So basically, when I pointed the phone at something that Erasma had, an augmented reality situation would pop out. Maybe a game would pop out. Maybe some extra information would pop out. Maybe a video would come onto my phone or something like that. Well, near field communications can do a lot more than just that. If you've got the right type of technology in a door lock, for example, you can use near field technology to unlock a door. You can use near field technology to contact somebody else, or actually get information from something like a phone or something like that, instead of having to pull out your phone. That's, wearable technology like the Pebble. That's a perfect example. Well, there's a Kickstarter out there that I want to show you. It's called the NFC ring. And basically it's just that. It's a ring that you will wear, and it'll be a near field communications. And when you have other technology attached to it, like for instance, a door lock, it could actually unlock the door for you. It could do a whole bunch of stuff that you don't need to be close to do it, which is really cool. So you can unlock a smartphone or tablet. So instead of having a 4-digit combination, you could just walk up your phone. As long as your ring's close by, you just put the ring on, or you just pick up the phone like this, and instead of typing the security code, you've already done it with your ring. That's pretty cool stuff. So it's a Kickstarter, and it's out in England. So they're looking for, it's £36,000, which I believe is somewhere on the I'm sorry, they were looking for £30,000, which is somewhere on the line of $50,000 to $55,000. They've already reached the goal, but you still have opportunities to be a part of that. So check it out. I'll have the link in the show notes of that Kickstarter. All right, new Ford system is going to help you. Help the police help you, warning you when something's coming. And this is actually really cool. This is over on foxnews.com. Basically, if a emergency vehicle, such as a police car or an ambulance, is going down the road for an emergency, they'll have a special tone that they'll be pitching out. And apparently Ford will hear that tone. The Ford car will hear that tone. And then, I don't know, it'll be blinking, it'll turn on, it'll warn you, it'll say, hey, emergency vehicle behind you, move to the side, and go from there. I think this is great. Not as much needed in some places like Madison here, because of the fact that, that you can pretty much get through the streets very easily. But, if you're in New York or LA and you're in close to a traffic jam, and all of a sudden there's an ambulance about 100 yards away trying to get through so it can save a life, then you have time to pull over so that emergency vehicle can get through. So pretty cool stuff. If you want to check out more on that, it's over at foxnews.com, and you can check it out there. Of course, everything is in the show notes. All you have to do is go over to geekazine.com and go to the show notes for that specific link. Let's move on from there. Let's go over to Engadget.com. Did you get your Leap controller? A few months ago, they talked about this special device. It's a really cool device. Here, it works like this. You basically have this little square here, and you put it down, and then you move your hand over it, and your hand becomes the controller. So if you hold it like a pen, you can write like a pen. You can actually even hold a pen or a pencil in your hand and do that. But you can do, can do pinches. You can widen out. I didn't make my purchase of the Leap motion controller. A lot of the tech people have got their Leap motion controllers, and of course they're using it right now. But there's a nice review over on Engadget.com for the Leap motion controller. This one looks like it's hooked up to a MacBook. So a new way to actually think about how you can control your screen by this little controller right here. I know it looks like a 4-port USB hub or something like that. It's very small, and I should have purchased it when I had the time. So, but if you want to check it out, go over to Engadget.com. They have the full review there. Moving over to Macworld.com. Congratulations to the iTunes Store, 1 billion podcast subscriptions. Now, I'm a podcaster, so I like to keep on top of the space. Since 2004, this is how I figured it. Since 2004, 1 billion subscriptions to podcasts. Now, that means that some podcasts have come and gone. They have about 250,000 podcasts, active podcasts, on iTunes. About 8 million subscribed, or I'm sorry, not subscribed, 8 million downloads. I got it right here. Let me look it up. 100 different languages, 250,000 unique podcasts, and there was 8 million. What was the 8 million on that? Anyway, the whole point is I kind of broke it down it turns out to be, if there's 1 billion subscribers, that means on average 4,000 subscribers per podcast. Now, I know that there's probably not 4,000. I don't know if there's. I can't tell how many subscribers are to Geek Smack, or the audio version or the video version. I do have two versions on iTunes, an audio version and a video version, and you can listen to or watch either of the versions. Well, you can't watch the audio version. You can listen to the version. The whole point is that you can. Yeah, I know I'm crazy now. The whole point is that you can download. You can subscribe to your choice. And with that, I should have about 8,000 subscribers. But I thought about it. It's like, to get about 4,000 subscribers for a show, that means you got to have about 40,000 people that pass through. So I'd say about 40 in the last 5 years, more than 40,000. I'd say about 100,000 people have passed through my show and watched or listened to it at one point in time, which isn't too bad. It's still a low number, but it's not a bad number from there. So this is a very promising number for podcasters. I'm really happy to report that 1 billion. Congratulations, Apple, in helping us podcasters get the word out as well. Let's move on from there. We're going back over to Geekazine.com. Flipboard, let me just close this out here. Flipboard is eyeing on the desktop. Apparently today, a new version of Flipboard has come out to the web. And that new version, let me see if I can, let me see if I can call it up here. So Flipboard is now available on your PC or your Macintosh. They had some very rudimentary pages up at first. So let's bring it up here. Oops, we'll go back here. So, and it looks like Flipboard is down right now. Look at that. A lot of people wanting to get on Flipboard, I guess. Reload, nope, not going to do it. So they must be having some problems right now. So anyway, Flipboard is coming up. I did some rudimentary. They had a couple examples on there. If you've got a touchpad, like the MacBook multi-touch, you can actually swipe up and that'll flip pages. If you don't have that functionality on your Windows machine or your older MacBook, you can use the arrow buttons, left to turn the page, right to turn back, and go from there. So a lot of ways to control it. It's a great app. I use it on my iPad a lot. I'm really happy. Well, not right now because it's got a server error, but once they get up and going, I'm going to be really happy that Flipboard is on the PC. I'll use it a lot more, and I'm really excited about that. So check that out over at news.geekazine.com. All right, let's move on from there. Going over to redshark.com. This is Jennifer showed me this video. This is a camera that can follow a specific item as just completely followed. So they have this ping pong ball, and they're just throwing it around left and right and up and down and all around. And let's get to a part where I can show you here. So yeah, it's just moving it around, and it's just following it. And I'm not going to show too much because then we got some copyright issues going, blah, blah, blah. So basically, the camera, if I had like I have a flash drive here, it would follow the flash drive if I set this flash drive to be the thing to be followed. Not only can it do that, but it can also put a message on here. Now, think about this. The entrepreneur in me thinks about this all the time. You could put that into sports, and then you could actually follow a quarterback or a running back. You could have on each person, and not only that, you could also have the quarterback sponsored by Outback Steakhouse, and all of a sudden you see a little Outback logo on his forehead on the helmet, and you can actually see him go through the plays because that camera is following that specific helmet, that specific person. So this is really cool technology when it comes to any type of videographer out there. So if you want to check out more, we got that over in the show notes. Go over to geekazine.com and click on the show notes. All right, that does it for this part of the Tech Smack part. We're going to get in the Geek Smack part, but we got a brand new section of Geek Smack. It's called Geekedia of the Week, and it goes a little something like this. And basically, Geekedia is an item that, a movie, a book, something that's geeky, that kind of reminds you, say, hey, maybe I should watch this. Maybe we should watch a movie like this, or read this book, or or play this game. So this week I'm going to start with one of the movies that is pretty much my go-to movie whenever I just need to laugh, and that's the movie Real Genius, starring Val Kilmer, starring Gabriel Jarrett, and the third name is Martha Coolidge. Just I have so many memories of that movie. It's amazing. It's basically about these geniuses that go to this specific school to get a higher education, but in the meantime, they're actually building something for their professor, who's trying to make money off of this an actual laser system, and they find out that they're doing something kind of evil, and then they try and root around it. A lot of scientific stuff. In fact, one of the things that was in the movie, the popcorn scene, Mythbusters, of course, dispelled that myth on an episode. I think it was last year's Mythbusters, so you can check that out there. But Real Genius, go over to Geekazine.com to the show notes, click on the link, and of course, that'll help Geekazine keep the lights on. And then, of course, you can also watch it. It's on Prime, so if you have a Prime membership, you can watch it on your Roku, on your over-the-top television device, and enjoy Real Genius. It is the Geekedia media of the week. And of course, this section is brought to you by The Day in Tech History. It's the other one of the other podcasts I do. The Day in Tech History is a full rundown of tech history for you, for your friends, for everybody else that wants to be in the know of what happened on this day in tech history. Today, being Tuesday, we had some car tech history. The first car ever was brought out back in 1886. Gottlieb Daimler, I believe is how you pronounce the name. But then 17 years later, the first Model A car by Ford came out, which was the car that would be something that would the masses would use. And it is pretty cool. Got a lot of other tech history. Go over to the Day in Tech History. The best part about Day in Tech History is you can now get it on your Android. You can now get it on your iPhone through Podcast Box. And you can download it now, just this week. Download it on the Windows Store. And you can check that out. And I got links to that all over at dayintechhistory.com. All right, let's go back over to Geek News, news.geekazine.com. Tumblr has blocked the the adult pages on Tumblr. They're not affecting, a couple months ago we talked about Marissa Mayer saying that, well, we're not going to mess with Tumblr at all. If you've got an adult page, you're still going to have an adult page. We're not gonna do anything there. But what they did do is they took the search away from those pages. Now, a lot of people have been complaining about it, but the reality is they haven't done anything to the blogs themselves. So she's right, unfortunately. But the bad part is that you now can't search for anything through the tag. So not even a reason to tag anything. I'm hoping that they're going to start and they're going to create some sort of alternate search for adult blogs out there, but that hasn't happened yet. They even have a page, NSFW. So if you go to tumblr.com/NSF, I'll have the link that goes to the link that goes to the link. And basically it just says adult blogs will appear in mobile apps and for your followers. So you've got to promote your page kind of outside of Tumblr and say, go to my adult page here and go from there. I like it. I don't like the idea of the days where we search and all of a sudden we'd have the first 5 links would be porn. It was getting very annoying. And of course, Google's new path to get rid of adult sites out of Google search and have a safer search. I like that idea. All the XXX sites are in their area. They have their own search site. I don't know what it is, but I know there is a search site out there for them. So I'm hoping that Tumblr will index that for those types of pages, those types of search engines, and then leave that out for Google. So everybody's happy. But, and yeah, I'm a little bit upset that they took it out, but I'm really happy at the same time. So If you want to read more on that, go over to geekazine.com for the news section. All right. There are 3 laws out there, and this is over on motherjones.com. Jennifer also found this one for me. There are 3 laws out there that are kind of outdated. The first one, the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act. The second one is the DMCA, the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. And, of course, the third one is the Electronic Communications Privacy Act. All 3 of them have nomenclature in there. I guess that's the right word. Yeah, nomenclature in there. I'm going to call it the right word. That basically is outdated. So what they're suggesting is, hey, we should turn around and we should relook at this stuff, and we should add stuff to this copyright. Make sure that, there isn't a loophole in there that's gonna get us in trouble here or there, and of course not step on our First Amendment rights. A really good read if you are into the legal area of the Digital Rights Act. Go over there. It's over at motherjones.com. Let's move on from there. LG has said that they're going to be bringing curved TVs. Whoops, where did that go? There it is. Curved TVs coming to the United States. Oh, I see what's going on there. Very interesting page. Curved TVs coming to the United States. I don't think I can show that there because it will not. Let's do this. Curved TVs coming to the United States. It's going to take about, I said about 4 times, $15,000, and you get a 55-inch television curved. So you got like a little bit of an IMAX experience on your TV. You set up your home theater so you get, watch the movies you want. But once again, it's going to cost you $15,000 to do. If you want to look at that, that's over at WSJ.com is where I pulled that headline from. Going over to TechCrunch.com, Apple's confirmed that the Dev Center was breached. There were some people noticed that the Dev Center went down for a little bit. I believe it was yesterday or 2 days ago. No, it had to have been more than 3 days ago, because they said 3 days of silence as Apple basically said, hey, we've got some problems, we're working on it. And some people got some emails saying, your password was changed. Did you want to change it? Or a change request was in the works. If this wasn't you, please click here. So if you did get one of those, make sure that you check your developer account. Now, this is only for developers. If you have a regular iTunes account, it did not affect you. It did not find any credit card numbers. It did not find any personal information, but they did get into Apple's systems and find a break. Apple has fixed the problem, so it's not a big deal. Only if you're a developer, you might want to change your passwords anyway. So that's over at TechCrunch.com. Check that out there. All right, we already talked about one piece of wearable technology. This is another piece of wearable technology. It's also a ring, and it's actually pretty cool. It's called the Orb, and the cool thing about this ring is it turns and becomes a Bluetooth headset. So there it is, the picture right there. If you're watching the video, it's a Bluetooth headset, but if we go down, you'll actually see the ring itself, the Orb, which you can wear on your finger. This is actually perfect because you want to have a Bluetooth headset, but when you're done with it, you don't want it sticking in your ear. So you can just take it off, flip it back, put it on your finger, and be done. It's a perfect engagement ring. I don't know. The prices are pretty good on this. $129 for the deluxe version is about $175. I'm not sure what the deluxe version is. I think it's fitted with e-ink display and other things like caller ID, calendar reminders, and text messages. So you can look at your ring. Oh, I got a text message. What does it say? Should have put a ring on it. What can you do? Check it out. It's over at designcot.com. The Orb ring. It's pretty cool. Lots of cool wearable technology, and we're going to see a lot more. In fact, I saw something last week about a shirt that actually had some sort of wearable technology in it, too. Remember 2 years ago, Netflix and what they tried to do? They tried to split up the company, and then they tried to sell the DVD division with Quickster, and everybody was like, are you serious, Netflix? And their stock went from here, $295 a share, by the way, down to here, which is $66 a share. And I thought, Netflix, 3 to 6 months, done. Well, I was wrong. Netflix shares are back up. Now, this article, it's over at Reuters.com. Basically, they're saying that that Netflix didn't hit its expectations. But the reality is their expectations pretty much almost put them right back to where they were before that whole debacle happened 2 years ago. So they added about 630,000 streaming customers in the United States in the second quarter. They wanted 700,000, so they missed the mark. They're about 4% lower than what they wanted to be. But their stock is at $265 a share, $30 lower than what it was 2 years ago. So congratulations to Netflix. I'm still not a Netflix subscriber. I didn't like the way that they were updating their libraries. I don't watch kids' TV, so it doesn't appease me. And they didn't have content. I really wanted to see something. Maybe they showed a movie a week. So I get a new movie on Saturday, something a little bit newer, and then that would be around for a week and then moved off, and then another movie comes on. I would have been perfect with that, but there was never new content, and everything was so old that I wasn't really watching it. Amazon has a lot of new content, which is why I like Amazon's Prime. In fact, I missed Under the Dome last night. I'm gonna get to watch it on Amazon Prime today. Now, granted, I missed Arrested Development. I missed the other, the Kevin, not Kevin Pollak, but anyway, that movie, The House of Cards. That's what I was thinking of. I missed those shows, but I don't really miss it. So congratulations to Netflix. I think that's a great jump up to where they were. But I can't believe that they got there again. And they did a good job. So hopefully they don't do anything stupid like try and sell the DVD site again and ruin everything. And you only get one chance to do that. Don't do that twice. I'm just saying. So anyway, let's move on from there. Let's go over to vicespy.com. You might have seen this animated GIF on Google+. I know I've seen it a few times. But it's a really cool table. It's magnetic. And it kind of looks like something from the 70s or 80s coming from a doctor's office in the lobby or something like that. What's really cool about this, I'm going to go, and this is the animated GIF. The guy's just pushing down on the block, and the block just kind of pushes down and then pushes right back up. There's it's done by magnets where they separate just enough so the table stays together, but when you put something on top of it, it cushions it down. So you could actually sit on this and maybe feel a little bit more comfortable. I don't know if you can remove the blocks, what happens if you do, but it's a pretty cool. It's called Rock Paper Robot, and it's a float table. You can check it out, and we've got the link over at vicespy.com. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, geeks of all ages, that does it for the second half of Geekazine. We're going to get into the main subject here. We're going to talk about SIM cards. Now, what's happening is we're finding out that SIM cards aren't very secure. And I'm going to talk about that in a minute, and we're going to do that then. We'll be right back. You're watching Geek Smack. Yeah, I am a couple weeks off on this. You're watching Geek Smack. My name is Jeffrey Powers. If you have any questions, Geekazine is my Twitter, and then, of course, geekazine@gmail.com. We'll be right back.
With over 700 channels to choose from, the Roku should be part of your entertainment center, and the price is great. You got channels from Amazon to Netflix to Hulu Plus, and of course you can add to your pay channels like HBO Go. You also have Disney for the kids. You have tons of ways to entertain people. Not only movies, but you can also have great games, such as Pac-Man, such as Galaga, and of course, Angry Birds. And that's all through the Roku entertainment system. Now let me show you one channel that's in particular near and dear to my heart, and that's over here, the techpodcast.com channel. If you go to the techpodcast.com channel, you go into the video, and you go to Tech News, you will find not only iPad 365, but Geekazine's special media feed, and then of course the show Geek Smack, all on your Roku right there. So check it out. Prices start at $50 to no more than $100 for all this great entertainment. Do that by going over to geekazine.com/Roku. That's geekazine.com/Roku to get yourself a Roku player and start watching movies, start watching content, and start playing Angry Birds over at geekazine.com/Roku.
been an interesting week for me on security and stolen phones and broken devices, but there's another issue we need to address in security. It's your SIM card in your phone. According to a company, SR Labs, the SIM card, the card that the phone carriers put in your phone to activate on a network, is using 56-bit DEC encryption. This technology basically developed in the 1970s. Hackers can get into your SIM card using an errant SMS message and Java technology to pull whatever is on that SIM card. Now, this can be contacts, this can be passwords, and it can be other information you may have on the card. You think you're safe. However, over 750 million phones are open to this attack. That's 1 in 8 phones alone. SR Labs is going to show their findings at the Black Hat conference on July 31st. They're going to recommend SMS firewall and a better encryption in future phones. Now, I don't know if it's going to be 128-bit or 256-bit encryption, but we got to assume that updated encryption means phone carriers are going to have to update their SIM identification programs. Most likely, that would be a software upgrade and probably even a hardware upgrade. If they were to upgrade this today, we would see probably a 4-year process in this happen to clear out all old phones, because I'm not exactly sure if we can actually put in a 128-bit encryption SIM into today's phones, if there's a software fix for that. The end result is we might have, in about 4 years, that's when phones from 2013 might not even work on a carrier, simply because of the upgrade. Now, although phones such as iPhones and Androids don't really rely on SIM cards to hold this data, this could be a gateway for the phone itself. We at Geekazine wholeheartedly back SR Labs' plan to update SIM card technology and get into the 128-bit encryption for everything, so we have a very secure phone, a very secure mobile device, and even a brick when somebody tries to steal your phone, like they did with me. Enough about that. So, anyway, what do you think? Do you think that we should worry about SIM technology? Should we get rid of SIM technology, get something else for phones, so we do have a better encryption process on there, and we have more secure phones? What do you think? Let me know. Twitter me over at Geekazine, of course, geekazine@gmail.com, and the phone line is 608-205-4378. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, geeks of all ages, that is it for this episode of Geek Smack. We'll hopefully smack the geek out of you. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact me, because I will answer any questions that you come up with. And we'll be, like I said, we won't be back next week, as I'll be in LA. We'll be back in 2 weeks with another episode of Geek Smack, and I will smack the geek out of you. Till then, you guys geek out. My name is Jeffrey Powers. Thanks a lot for watching. You guys take care. Subscribe over on youtube.com/Geekazine, and of course, subscribe to the RSS feeds. I appreciate it much. Thanks a lot, and take care. All right, for all you watching out there on YouTube, thank you very much for watching. We will do this, like I said, in 2 weeks. There's a live, but next week, I didn't talk about this on the main thing. We'll actually be doing some live stream on Monday, talking about storage and HP. So you can check that out. I'll have the links in at youtube.com/Geekazine. I'll also have them. Excuse me. I'll also have them on Geekazine.com, and I'll be tweeting them out as I go. So follow me on Geekazine, and we'll go from there. Thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you next time on Geek Smack. We'll see you next time on Geek Smack. Take care.